Good morning, Laura Kate May.
I'm Paige Fisher.
And I'm Casey Schumann.
And we have some daily announcements for you today.
Don't forget to liven up that dinner table for the holidays. Buy a beautiful centerpiece from the Tiger Lily Flower Shop.
Place all your orders to Mrs. Barr before November 16th in S7. And now for today's spectacular edition of LCM Today.
Why is it spectacular, Paige?
Because we have some information about the Brain Bowl, my favorite activity of the school year.
I've always wanted to sign up for it, but I didn't know how.
Well, we have some very educational information for people like you, Casey. Let's take a look.
Good evening and welcome to the 2012 Annual Brain Bowl. Tonight we are having a showdown between the seniors and the sophomores. Our first question is, what is the Brain Bowl?
The Brain Bowl is a trivia night where students are asked questions all the way from school subjects to pop culture.
Yes, that is the correct answer. Question number 2. When is the Brain Bowl?
The Brain Bowl is November 19th at 6 o'clock p.m.
Correct. A point goes to the sophomores. The third question is, where does the Brain Bowl take place?
The LCMR cafeteria.
That is correct. A point for the seniors. Question number 4. What are the requirements for the teams?
5 students, 2 teachers, and 2 community members.
You are correct. Now the sophomores have 2 points. The fifth and final question is, why should students and teachers and community members participate in this?
It's a fun way to get involved.
It's a creative way to test your knowledge.
So get your teams together.
The Brain Bowl is November 19th at 6 o'clock p.m. in the LCMR cafeteria.
Wow, Paige, you were right. That makes me want to get a team together for it. Maybe I'll ask Mrs. Scone.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Do you want to be on my team?
No thanks. I'm going to ask some Renaissance buddies to join, and maybe Mrs. Caruso.
Wait, who's Miss Caruso?
You don't know who Miss Caruso is? She's a staff member that works here at LCMR in the guidance office. Me and Sean Cagney got the scoop.
Hi, I'm Sean Cagney. I'm trying to find out who is Miss Caruso.
Hi, my name is Mrs. Caruso, and I am the Child Study Team social worker here at the high school, as well as the substance awareness counselor. I always dreamed of helping people when I was younger. I wanted to be in the school. Growing up, I thought I always wanted to be a teacher. And then as I got older, I noticed that I wanted to be able to help out students who maybe needed more support with family issues as well as academics. So I always knew I wanted to be in a school. I just didn't know what I wanted to do in a school. Well, I came to Lower right out of graduate school. I went to graduate school at New York University, and while I was a student there, I was working in a hospital. So I worked with children who had been removed from their families. I was contracted with DYFS, and I provided visitation services and in-home services. I've always had a passion for working with adolescents and being involved in what helps students to become more successful through their academics and also to provide a supportive environment. Students would come to me if they felt that they themselves were struggling with substances, or they knew of a friend or a peer who was, or even if they had any issues going on at home and they just needed someone to come and speak with. I'm available to students the same hours that they're here, from anywhere from 7:45 to 2:45. If it's an issue where they would need to meet with me after school, all they would need to do is come in and make an appointment to do so. There's a lot of students who are struggling with substances, and being able to make sure that I'm linking them up with the services that are individually the best for them. I would say that children all across the country are struggling with with substances and with family stressors. So it's not so much that it's unique to this area, but it's unique to the individual.
Oh, I've seen her before. I just didn't know her name.
That's understandable.
You know, there's actually a lot of people in this school that the students don't know, including our own superintendent.
Oh, Mr. Fizzemeyer.
Actually, Paige, it's pronounced Fizzenmayer.
No, it's not.
To prove my point, I have the evidence.
Mr. Harding, do you know the name of our superintendent?
I believe his name is Mr. Feisenmayer.
Kemlin, do you know who our school superintendent is?
No.
Do you know the name of our superintendent?
I do. It's Mr. Fizzemeyer.
Miss Keeler, can you state the first and last name of our school superintendent?
Mr. Jack Fizzemeyer.
Miss Kay, who is the superintendent of our school?
The superintendent would be Mr. Jack Fizzemeyer.
What is the name of our superintendent?
Fuzz.
Can you tell me who our school superintendent is?
I cannot.
Jalen, who's the superintendent of our school?
Jack Fizz.
Do you know who the superintendent is?
Mr. Fizzemeyer.
Can you tell me who our school superintendent is?
Mike Wilson.
Jake, who's the superintendent of our school?
Mr. Fizzemeyer.
Alyssa, do you know who our superintendent is?
Mr. Fizzemeyer?
Do you know who our school superintendent is?
Isn't it Mr. Fizzenmeyer?
Who's the superintendent of our school?
Well, I know who the assistant superintendent is. That's Mr. Bill Damian.
Mr. Daly, do you know who our superintendent is?
I do. It's Jack Fizzemeyer.
Who is our school superintendent?
It's me, duh. Brandy, who is Mr. Fizzenmeyer?
Isn't he like the superintendent of our school?
This is Jack Fizzemeyer.
Jack Fizzemeyer. Jack Fizzemeyer.
McKamey Regional School District.
I guess there's been some confusion about the pronunciation of my last name. I'm not really sure why that is. It's pretty simple, but I do know there's a lot of letters in my last name, a lot of consonants and whatnot. So, but the correct pronunciation is Fizzenmayer. Although I do know a lot of people pronounce it Fizzenmeyer, and I've actually said Fizzenmeyer from time to time myself. But ever since I've been a little kid, I've had all sorts of pronunciations, and I answer to pretty much any one of them. But the correct pronunciation is Fizzenmayer. Thank you.
Jack Fizzenmayer.
Oh, I guess you were right.
Yeah, I'm rarely wrong.
That may be true, but that's all the time we have for you today.
Happy 50th birthday, Mr. Castellucci. Have a great day, Lower Cape May.